All right. Welcome to the episode of Real Estate vs. Technology. I'm your host, Norman Kinsey. We have our co-host, Mr. Dan Gandy. Welcome, Dan.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. And before we intro our guest today, do I sound a little weird today, Dan?
Yeah, you're like a frog.
I'm feeling like I'm foggy. So I'm overcoming a cold for all the viewers and listeners out there. And we want to encourage you to like the video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Comment below what you're going to learn as we get closer to the end of the episode. Today, we're going to go to California to an individual who's absolutely crushing it, a real estate professional that likes to keep things simple and basically help with a real estate solution, also to make it happy as well. He's a top 1% real estate professional out of the California, and we're looking forward to having this individual on. Technology. What part of California are you from?
I am from the Inland Empire. So if you know Los Angeles, head about 30 minutes east of that, around Orange County, Inland Empire, right around that area. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome, man. Awesome. So the show is all about you and your business. Our intention here is to be able to add value to this amazing real estate community. So let's get back into start with your story. So how long have you been in the business? Why real estate? Let's get up to where you're at today.
Absolutely. So I've been around the industry for about 5 years now. I'm 26 years old.
Okay.
In 2018, I went to a seminar called the Driven Event out here in Hollywood. The broker's name is Albert Preciado. And I went to that event and I saw like he had Ferraris on his stage. He had all this like glitz and glamour. No, seriously, it's like a West Hollywood brokerage. And I saw these two guys cross stage and get their top performers award. And I wanted to make sure that if I ever was going to hop into the industry, I was going to work with the guys that were at the top. So I followed these guys. One guy name was Eli Delgado. The other guy name was Michael Viscar. And I saw them back in 2018. Divine intervention happened 2 years later. I saw them on the freeway in a blacked out Tesla. And they didn't know who I was just a nobody in the back. And they didn't know who I was. And I saw them on their Tesla. I took a video of them and I sent it over. And that one DM changed the entire trajectory of my life.
Wow.
So that DM, we started connecting, and I was in the industry. I was an inside sales agent trying to recruit agents into Keller Williams. I was a real estate assistant. I did everything I could, but I couldn't pass my test. It took me like almost 2.5 years. I kept on like failing with like 68 or whatever the score was.
Yeah.
But then we connected in January. My parents wanted to sell their home in summer of 2020, right around the COVID time when prices were starting to go crazy. And I reached out to him, and for sure enough, he gave me that realtor spiel. Of course, it's always a good time to sell. And he said, if you get your license, I'll mentor you, help you sell your mom and dad's house. Let's make it happen. Wow. Sure enough, I put 2 weeks of just straight hardcore study time, got my license on July 7th. Took me about a couple months to get my license active, my brokers association or realtor association, my Supra, all that stuff. I went live October 1st, and he became my mentor. So that's kind of the entry to real estate. My first month in real estate, we went hard on Zillow ad spend. I did $1,250 a month. We split that at $2,500 in the city of Lake Elsinore. Within about 6 days, we got a lead coming through the Zillow premier agent. It was an all cash buyer ready to go. They were ready to buy a house. So I was able to close my first deal in real estate in November. It was and then after that, I listed my mom and dad's house. We got that sold in December. We had another deal in December. So 2 deals in December. So a total of 3 transactions in my first 90 days licensed, like fully licensed.
Wow.
A lot of momentum coming to 2021. In 2021, I ended up making, like we bumped up the ad spend in 2021. Rates were at like 2.8%. We started attacking, investing in our business even harder. And then in January through, I believe, October, I at least closed 2 transactions every month, those 10 months.
Wow.
Some months I closed 3, some months I closed 4, for a total of 31 transactions in 30 months. GCI'd $150K on a split. Biggest listing was 2.8 million. That's not that I was a great realtor. It's not because I was the most fabulous person in the world. It was because I found a realtor who has been in the business 6 to 7 years. And he was doing an average of 25 to 30 transactions. So the lesson there for the people that are listening is find a mentor or a person in business that is sitting in a space that you want to be in. But how do you attract that type of mentor? You have to become a person who attracts that by adding value, doing things for free, not just being not high maintenance, low production is what I don't want. I want high production, low maintenance, coming in there and always doing what's needed without being asked. So that's what really set me apart, of having that crazy work ethic, to really dive into a real estate career, almost ass backwards, and kind of fell forward, stumbling and learning how to do real estate along the way. So it was a crazy 2021 year. And then currently I actually walked away from that partnership in August.
Okay.
It's just certain work environments, I just needed to find my own space.
Yeah.
And then August, September, October, I ended up meeting a wholesaler who was my 2 doors down next door neighbor. He's a multi-million-dollar wholesaler. He's like 21, 22 years old. He has an entire operations, 92 VAs, like probably 20 acquisitions guys.
Wow.
He's 22 years old. And we're like best friends now. But I had to find a way to really open up my networks, because when you're by yourself now and you're not relying on the person above you to guide you through a transaction, you have to really fend for yourself and attract the business. So I pumped in and did Ryan Serhant's course. So my page, my branding, all that stuff. He helped me with Instagram, attracted some clients through that. And then from there, now I work as a listing agent for my buddy's real estate wholesale business, where I drive all of his listings that don't want to get wholesaled, that properties that are not distressed. And then currently, I'm studying for my brokerage exam. So in July, I get to take my brokerage exam.
Wow.
I'm gonna be scaling a brokerage with him as well. So there's been a lot of stuff going on, but it's been a really fun and exciting ride, to say the least.
Awesome, man.
Wow. Yeah, awesome. Congratulations. And, for the viewers and listeners out there, we've been hearing on the show a commonality of, like, if you want to have faster and quicker success, find a mentor, someone that you can work with, someone that you can grow with, someone that can help you get to where they're already at. So that's awesome that that's what you did, and it shows. And Ryan Serhant's awesome. Actually, we had a podcast guest, Andy G out of Charlotte, North Carolina, that is also a mentee of Ryan's, and met him in person and all that jazz. He's actually a client of ours on the Liftoff agent side that sponsors the show. And so that's amazing, man. That's absolutely amazing. And who would have thought your neighbor 2 doors down would have been who he is? And so that's amazing. That's amazing.
We met in the elevator. I saw him speak at an event out in Turlock, Modesto, at a real estate event. And I was like, "Are you Leo Basadua?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I saw you on like someone else's Instagram. How you doing?" He's like, "Oh, come upstairs. Let's watch the Pacquiao fight." There was a boxing fight that night. We just connected, and from there we built a relationship, and now he wants to scale a brokerage similar to what I think I saw in yours, Dan. It's the EXP model, a very like recruiting agency. Like, he met with Patrick Bet-David. If you guys know who Patrick Bet-David is, he runs a PHP agency. He said that there's no billion-dollar company with under 100 employees. It's, the ABCs of always be closing. In life and business, that you want to go and scale to $1 billion, it's ABR, always be recruiting, because in that business model, you'll go out there and expand nationwide, that you can actually go out there and build $1 million, $10 million, $100 million, $1 billion company. But if you go out there and try to keep everything in boutique and keep everything posh and all that stuff, you can only do so much dominating one farm. So that's really what my mindset is, the recruiting model, agency model. I think that the whole, like, maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago, recruiting was like a bad word. Everyone was like, "Oh, recruit! Oh my gosh!" But now everyone understands the power of recruiting, and that's really what I see for myself moving forward in building an agency, building a team, and building a brokerage.
I love that. Go ahead, Dan.
I was going to say that I have we've had a guest on here. I won't say his name, but a really good friend of ours, and he's been a recruiter at one of the top brokerages for years. And just going back and forth with him was that he'd always been so confined of like only being able to recruit agents in this like 30-mile radius, right? So he'd basically like dug up the dirt and then returned the dirt, and then he's like, "Man, I'm just tilling dirt now. I can't really. There's no more fresh plants unless they're brand new." So when the EXP model came out, and people like Jay Kinder and Brent Grove and Ricky Carruth and all these different people, right?
Sure.
And you could expand that network across all states and add value to everyone's business, right? Mm-hmm. There is no collaboration tool. There's a couple platforms that are similar now, but there's no collaboration tool to get to that. Kenny Trong, fast agent in the Bay Area, is like, he's at what, 400 agents now, somewhere around there. And that's just in the Bay Area. Imagine in another year or two, it's gonna be like 4,000 agents across the United States. So it's good for the agents. It's good for the ecosystem and spicing up things, I think.
I love
that. I absolutely love that. I want to go back. I just rewind a couple steps because I feel like the viewers and listeners out there, the one thing that I'm hearing loud and clear from you, Jacob, is you have a clear vision and mission. You know specifically where you're going, and more importantly, your mindset. And I think that people that are listening right now, or even watching, to think to themselves, like, what are they telling themselves? What is their mindset look like? Because that's going to be a key performance indication of where they're going to go as far as their success, where attention goes. Energy flows.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And so that's where it's like, I think a lot of viewers and listeners out there, because sometimes I think that when you drop knowledge or you drop big numbers, people kind of like close up because they're just like, they're like, well, I don't know. How do I do that? How do I make that happen for myself? Like, what's the first step? The first step is checking yourself and your mindset. I think is let's touch on that a little bit here, and then I have another question or so, and then we'll give it to Dan on the mix-up round. How you speak to yourself and what your mindset looks like. How does that directly correlate with where you're at today and where you're headed?
There's a book we all have probably read, Think and Grow Rich, but the title is Think and Grow Rich. So the conscious mind of what you think all day, those thoughts is what's going to direct reflect of what your life's going to become. So they talk about in the book is the success consciousness versus failure consciousness. To program your mind, it's reading the books, it's listening to the podcasts, it's surrounding yourselves with the right people. Who you become, or who you surround yourself with, is who you become. The cliche is, you tell me who your friends are, I'll tell you who you are. You adopt all of the right habits. So if you think about what I'm doing, I'm moving into space because I look at people in the realms of, for example, Ed Milet. For example, guys like people in this industry that are in the top one, the Altman brothers, that are just dominating a force, right? I aspire to be like that. And there's 3 different ways that you can get from each level. So at the beginning, you want to be motivated, right? You want to be motivated. I'm gonna go out there and just get motivated and start working on you, read the books, go to seminars and network. Next thing is becoming inspirational, right? That's when you're transferring belief to people. That's where you should sell a vision to these guys, recruiting them onto your team. I can get you here, create passive income, create residual income. That's inspiration, right? For me, now it's being aspirational. People want to aspire to be like you, your habits, your ideas, your rituals, your mantras, what you do, what you say to yourself. People want to adopt those things. So what I'm doing right now is I preach to myself that I'm already at that space and time hasn't caught up yet. I'm already a millionaire. I'm already a billionaire. Those things are already set in stone because of what I know based off the success habits that I've already created. I did not arrive here. I've went through trials and tribulations. I've been through depression. I've gone through all of that. Yeah. But it led to where I'm at today because of all the tests God has put in front of me, because all of the prayers that I want for my life. So for example, if I'm praying for $1 million income, God's going to throw so much adversity in front of me for me to grow and stretch and become the person to attract $1 million income. People don't believe, like for me, I think faith is so huge in business. If you don't have faith in business, you're going to fall on your face and probably get burnt out of business. Right. I believe that truly. And the second thing is the number one KPI in business is to stay in business. Most people get out their first, second, third year. Right now, you see rates going up. People are getting filtered out of this business right now in real estate because the guys that are dominating are eating up everyone's lunch. And if you don't have a online presence, if you're just trying to do friends and family, well, people are getting scared right now because with rates going up, they're filtering out certain buyers. So when it comes to mindset, it's I'm going to win no matter what. Like, it's just, I told myself, I'm going to win come hell or high water, no matter what the case is, no matter what the interest rates are. I'm going to find a way no matter what, because I know that that's my ultimate goal. And I tell myself, I have my affirmations, I have my goals. So I'll kind of walk you through my morning routine a little bit. So I wake up most days around 4 a.m. I meditate for 15 minutes. I get ready, go to the gym. In the gym, I might listen to a podcast or an audiobook. It just keeps your mind going, right? And then from there, I come back home. I get through my journal. I have peak performance tracking. I have my daily dozen. So I have little Outlook spreadsheet that I click on and track every measure of my life. So there's health, wealth, and love. So health is mind, body, emotional, and spirit. And then wealth is I have 4 things that track my KPIs in business. And then love is either personal relationship, if you have one with an intimate person, or if you're not in a relationship, self-love. What do you do to practice self-love? So I practice my daily dozen, my PPTs, and then I do visualization and prayer in the morning. So I'm already priming myself to win the day. So if you already wake up at 4 and you execute by 9 p.m. or 9 a.m., you've already done more than most. You've already done so much compared to the average person that wakes up 6, 7 in the morning, and they're already barely waking up, rolling out of bed and lost, but with that much intention of running a calendar that strategically. And now I'm in a position where I'm running or building on my business rather than building in my business. Right now, I'm actually building teams. I have people. I just recruited a new agent under me yesterday. What I had to go through the mud last year. I was doing like 20 showings a weekend in last summer. Oh my gosh, with peds and like all that stuff. Well, because I had the volume of leads coming through, but I had to go through the mud so I can at least transfer my skills to the person I'm training. Yes. Right. So that's a lot of where my mindset comes from. That's really what it is. It's becoming an elite performer. It's studying guys like Andy Frisella, Ed Milet, studying the top of the top, adopting their habits and rituals, and start implementing it. It takes time though. And like I said, I didn't just arrive here.
Yeah, I love that. So I have two more. One to kind of close out with what you just said, and then one that's going to prime the mix-up round for Dan. So the question is so how long did it take from the first day you woke up, alarms off, 4 o'clock, I'm up, to like now it's an automatic?
This was back in 2020. So before 2020, like I said, I was broke like a joke. Like I was trying to fake it till I make it. I was the guy on Instagram trying to just motivate my way to feel good on Instagram, genuinely. Wow. Right. And that's just being transparent, because a lot of these guys, Instagram is a joke. I'm telling you, there's guys that gurus and all this stuff that they don't even really make money. It's just, there's so many people out there that are not who they say they are.
Yep.
I was that person too. So it's like, sometimes you got to fake it till you make it sometimes, but in 2020, I started studying David Meltzer, my best friend, who is my podcast co-host. I actually have a podcast as well. He was mentored by the former CEO of Samsung, David Meltzer. And he talked about being a student of your calendar. And I had to start backtracking from a 7 a.m. wake up down to a 6:45, 15-minute increments all the way down until I got to 4. It took me about two and a half weeks. But once you get into that flow of 4 a.m., and you still have times where you stay out with your friends and stay up late, but it's going back to that standard, right? We don't get what we want in life. We get our standards. And the people around you are a direct reflection of what the standards they allow in your life. So if my friends are like, or my close-knit circle, we all have like a 4 a.m. accountability. Everyone's firing each other up. Group messages are popping off. And that's what I attracted. So it took about 2.5 weeks, starting from 7 a.m. But now it's like every morning, because I know what I have to do the next day. I study my calendar at 8:30 at night. So I know exactly what I need to do to execute the next morning.
Love it. That's awesome. No, that's cool. That's good to know. And I'm right there with you. So 5 o'clock traditionally, now 4 o'clock, started at the beginning of this year. And I train myself to have no alarm, and I just tell myself I'm gonna get up this time, and I just get up. I'm the cold turkey guy. So I just
nice.
But hey, whatever works, right? Whatever the thought process may be. So I'm gonna go ahead, and the last question for me is technology wise, as Dan gets into systems and processes and technology for the mix-up round, what has been on the technology forefront, something that you've adapted to over the course of getting your license to where you're at today that you've seen some success from?
So I actually, my first 6 months, I didn't even have a CRM. I used pen and paper and just putting everyone's names there and just crossing stuff off. I didn't know what CRM even was. So recently I used Follow Up Boss. I like Follow Up Boss. It just keeps it simple, very, very simple, just to know who you need to call, my task for the day. That's one thing I've been using. Ad spend. I've used realtor.com. I use Zillow Premier Agent. I'll use all those guys. The hardest part about those is that it's not that the leads don't work. It's knowing how to convert and finding the pain points of the ones that are qualified. So opening up with open-ended questions, like they teach ALM, appointment, meet. I don't even know what it is. I'm already I forgot what they teach, but I've got so good with people, and it's hard to duplicate yourself when you actually get to a certain level of sales, is learning how to ask the open-ended questions and then following up with that closed-ended question. That's a lot of what I'm doing to drive listings and drive buyers, is finding where their problems are. Especially right now, it's like most people that are buying, they need to buy. They're going to go homeless or they can't find a place. They have to rent. So it's just leading in and being of service, and not looking at clients right now as transactional. I think I made that mistake early on too. My first year is I didn't do follow business. I wasn't sending notes or following up and putting people in a CRM. So this year, it's very intentional about earning follow-up business and being from a place of service.
I love that. I love that. So the book I would recommend is called Exactly What to Say. There's 27 key words to influence others and get them to do exactly what you want them to do. So for any viewers or listeners that are out there, I'm going to go ahead and change up the camera angle, give it off to Dan for the mix-up round, and go ahead and take it away, Dan.
Thanks, Norman. I'm going to mix this one up a little bit as we progress and get better and better guests, because something resonated with me. So you're going to be partnering with a wholesaler that's going to be scaling into a brokerage, which follows kind of my similar model from the investment side, which is, having heavy outbound and conversation and relationship based leads, and then being able to turn and convert those into listings. Why don't you give us a little bit of context on what you're going to be doing there and how best that's been working for you? And all that.
Yeah. So we have VAs and then acquisition managers on the wholesale side. Yep. The VAs are the ones that pretty much filter if they're even a solid lead, and acquisitions managers are the ones that warm them up and see if they can get the close. Most people, if their house is not distressed, don't want to get $100K under asking for an all cash offer. That's just what's the nature of the business. It's like, that's way too low. Then they say, hey, I have this superstar in-house realtor that can reach out to you. He's been doing X, Y, and Z. And they not oversell me, but they sell me to the person across the phone. And they say, would you be opposed to us giving you a call? Would you be opposed to having our in-house realtor give you a call and see if you guys are a good fit? Right away, they upload that lead into our Podio, which is our CRM that we use. And I see that right away. Boom. I see that. I pick up the call and it's hot. And then from there, I see where I can be. And I'm pretty, I'm not Josh Altman. I can't be like, I want 7%, or I want, I'm like, hey, if I can get 2%, I get a nice split. As long as I can get the business, that's all that matters right now. We're doing volume, and these houses are 300,000 to 800,000. We're not selling multi-million-dollar houses, because most people aren't wholesaling their multi-million-dollar houses. Yeah. So I mean, if you think about volume, that's why I'm building team right now, because it's actually way too many leads coming in the pipeline right now. I have like 85 leads in the pipeline that are hot. I'm like, okay, I can't even do that much volume myself if I tried. There's not enough hours in the day to convert that. So that's kind of what's going on right now. So any wholesalers out there that want to start implementing the realtor leads into your systems, by all means, find a realtor you trust that knows how to convert, and coach your acquisitions managers and your VAs to know how to properly direct guys that do have a house that is ready to sell, but they aren't distressed.
Yeah, that's you bring up a great topic, because like early on, we would get a lot of no equity or low equity sellers, right? And typically like your sub 2 method or any of the more creative stuff that you would try to do, a lot of times they're like, I just want to put it on the market and sell it. And then you're like, well, you can't even pay a realtor. So like, how do we best create solutions to be able to fix that? And I think the reverse of that is marrying the investment space to the real estate space. And I talk about this a lot, being a hybrid agent myself, is I think the evolution of real estate agents is you have to be hybrid. If you're not going to wholesale, or you're not going to, sell to investors, you need to be able to refer them to investors, even if you're not getting anything on the kickback, right? They're not a referral partner, and you can't get a referral. But moving into that, really, like, how are you going to battle the too many leads problem? Is it hire more VAs? Is it get more acquisition managers? Or is it hire more agents that understand both sides of the ball game in order to filter those leads and roll through those? The
latter one, the third one. So we're scaling it. Like I said, I'm currently studying for the 5 courses to get my broker's exam, to get my broker's license right now. It's a lot of work, and you get an 80% to pass. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to. It's like, I don't want to. I know I got it. But so scaling a brokerage, right? And it's like I said, it's gonna be a recruiting based model where we can give franchise opportunities. And because remember, wholesaling's all remote. You could do virtual wholesaling in any city that if you get a zip, like anywhere in the United States. So if we say, hey, we're going to be launching a brand new brick and mortar office out there in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm from California. No, it doesn't matter. We can go out there and dominate an entire market over there, and kind of just start popping up opportunities everywhere. So we're going to start creating competitors now. Everyone's like, oh, that's a great idea. Like, oh, that's a great idea. Shoot.
I mean, that's been around for years. It's just how you filter through those leads. I think the last question I really have, is there any technology that you're currently innovating into your business that is new or emerging for you, that you like to share with the audience?
Current technology, honestly, social media, but there's really no new technology, actual like tech. I leverage a lot of people on personal branding. So I have just social media personal branding is huge. Content and putting out content that attracts either people you can recruit or making sure that you're a professional in the industry that you are. So I think one thing with personal branding for those that are afraid to post on social media, because a lot of people that are actually like afraid to post on social media, put their face on the camera and post content, it's make it you, regardless of who you, regardless if, let's just say I quit real estate tomorrow, I have a personal brand of who I am that I can take into solar, into loans, into build a restaurant. That personal brand is so powerful. When people know who you are and what you stand for, know your core values, that you're consistent with the way you show up on your stories, you're consistent with the way you post on your main feed posts. So I think maybe not tech, but that's one thing that's been helping me out a lot lately.
For taking on that round and just to kind of unpack that a bit. I know that was untraditional in a sense where going a little bit more into wholesaling, what that looks like. I went through some courses myself. And for the viewers and listeners out there that are realtors that are thinking like, oh, I don't want to touch it, I'm not interested. And even if you don't get a kickback, it's fine, because I feel like at the end of the day, like, karma, the universe, call it what you will, it's going to come back around for you. So it doesn't matter if, and that goes back to, I think, earlier, what you did say earlier, Jacob, about the fact that like, getting paid on certain things or whatever the case may be, it's like, it's totally fine. It's like, you do what you got to do, and, you work for free sometimes. And at the end of the day, you have your mindset of where you're headed, not where you're at. And once you change that from like, oh, I'm just in it for the money, to like, hey, I'm helping families and supporting people and supporting other people that are young and hungry. And I think, success attracts success. So for viewers and listeners out there, if you have a hungry person who's calling you that wants to work with you, I mean, that could be a huge opportunity, because who knows how many deals they're going to bring you and what potentially can happen out of that, right? Which is huge. And then, the last part, as far as social media and branding, I do love what you're doing as far as all of your photos, links down below for the viewers and listeners. Like, definitely follow up Jacob. I love how you do more of like a kind of like professional photos and branding and lifestyle type of photography and videography that really ties it in nicely. One question I have for viewers and listeners out there, and even for myself, I'm just kind of curious, like, what are you using to do some of the edits and some of like the captions for your reels?
I keep it simple. For me, I just, whatever the first statement that comes to mind of where my reels come from is just what's the energy I want to attract from that reel. A lot of it is motivational. It is a lot of it inspirational, because I would do a lot of work in my DM. So I actually convert a lot of people through engaging story posts. So when people like react on a poll, or if they like something or react, well, if you react to my stuff, we're opening a conversation. We're going to become friends. Do you know anybody? It doesn't matter. So shooting reels, it's simple. I break down my micro content from my podcast, and then shoot that out, and then find highlights from there, and then just put whatever that topic is. It's keep it very, very simple.
I love that. That's awesome. And I love that, it's like what comes to you. So I think sometimes people overanalyze or think too much about it. And one thing like I've been doing most recently is batch content. And it's nice because you can film, point and shoot, person to person, 15 to 20 second content. And then as soon as you get into that flow state, it just comes out and you're like, all right, like, I just got like 30 videos done within like 15, 20, 30 minutes, whatever it was, depending on how long each one was. So I absolutely love that. That's super cool. That's awesome. So I think last couple questions, I mean, you're not really on the traditional side. So for you personally, are you doing anything on the traditional side as an expert to kind of do anything in your local market, or to be a resource community expert, which is an authority for video content, mailers, any traditional stuff? Or are you just getting fed deals because of your partner?
So so nothing really traditional. I've been brought up in a space where it's a lot of ad spend. All I know is buy leads and convert. That's what I grew up in for the last year. Like I said, I'm barely in my second year of real estate. I can't even apply for my broker's test yet. I'm like 18 months in. So I'm still very, very new. I know what I don't know, but I know that I need to learn a lot in this industry. Yeah. So right now, it's just ad spend. It's social media. It's relationships. Adding value to the people around you. I think one thing is judge people based on their intentions, not their actions. when you know you're a good person, you can attract good people into your life that want to help and support and give you deals. Be like, hey, so and so, I would love to see if we can make something and find common ground where we can work together. Yeah. Sure enough, that's where you get a lot of business. So I'm still new. I'm still learning,
I love it. And so the last question I have is kind of more of a practical action step for someone who's listening or watching can do today. So you said that, Instagram, you did a poll, whatever case may be, and then you get someone that interacts with you, and then you automatically lead into, say, next steps is opening that conversation. So give us a practical action that someone can take right now that they can pick up their phone right now or pause this right now and be like, all right, let me do it myself. And then it turn into potentially one new person that they potentially can have a relationship with or a conversation with that could lead to business.
So it depends on if you have a social media presence. If you don't have a social media presence, it's hard, right? Yeah. So if you have a social media presence, it's engaging content. First of all, go do a photo shoot. Go do an active photo shoot, lifestyle photo shoot, and have batch content that you post regularly. That's one thing that I did that got me it just builds that perceived credibility. So I think building out your social media presence is number one. That's practical. Number two is to attack and convert that. Add flair to it. I used a lot of little captions that were like, my favorite 4-letter is sold, or like just funny stuff that make it fun, make it exciting. And people like to engage with a person, not a salesman. Because when you come off with commission breath and you're looking to always just put for sale, escrow, people like that. They think you're good, but like people want to connect with a person and they want to be sold by a friend. So I think that's important.
I love it. One thing that I'll put out there is that, and I've made this as an action step and put out there on various different channels, like for the Lift Off Agent side, is like, if someone follows you, pick up your phone, do a video for them. Thanks so much for the follow. Really do appreciate it. Hope your day is going phenomenal. Look out for your content. And I just made sure to like 4 or 5 of your photos. And I also followed you. So automatically giving value, then kind of seeing who you are, kind of seeing like a real person, where you're at, what's happening. And I've seen a lot of success with it. I'm actually, shameless plug, I'm getting paid to go to San Francisco on May 11th to the National Hispanic Organization of Real Estate Associates. And I'm going to be on a panel. I'm going to be hosting a technology panel. I'm going to have a booth there for the Lift Off Agent side. And that was for me doing a video message.
I love that.
So
opportunity,
add value. That's it.
Opportunity and add value. So I just wanted to, put my 2 cents in. And with that, I'm going to change up the camera angle, put it on you, Jacob. What would you like to leave for our viewers and listeners as we close out our show today?
Yeah. So I have a mission statement. It's called the Veritas Initiative. Veritas means truth in Latin, and initiative is the beginning of. So that's my podcast. That's my personal brand. That's what I write for. So the Veritas Initiative is a mission to create faith-driven successes, to bring more wealth, abundance, peace, and joy into each and every one of our lives. And everything that you want in this world is on the opposite side of fear. Go out there and live in your truth and pursue your potential.
Nice. That's awesome. I got to say, I love that, because they say people forget what you said and did, but they won't forget the way you made them feel. And because you're doing what you're doing with your content that's driving emotion, people then want to tune in and follow and subscribe and connect with you. And then before you know it, they're like, hey, because subconsciously you're planting the fact that you are a realtor, and then there's business. So that, that's super cool, man.
Yeah.
I love what you're doing. I think a lot of people out there, the more that you're focused, the more that you see the writing on the wall, and you don't just buy the next freaking app or whatever course, because you see like, hey, like I know where I'm headed. That doesn't align with my goals and missions and vision. But Jacob, thanks so much for being on the show today. I really do appreciate your time today.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure. Thank you guys for having me.
Dude, yeah, absolutely amazing. Dan, as always.
Yeah. Thank you again. Pleasure to meet you. And I'm going to keep following, and let's have you back on here in another year.
Oh, I'm excited. Yeah. We'll stay connected on social media. We'll take care, guys.
Yeah, let's do that. And to all our viewers and listeners out there, it is our intention for you to take things from our episodes, so apply to your business, have more massive success. Now's the time. Comment below with what you learned. Like, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching Real Estate vs. Technology, this week's brand new episode, and making it to the end, your real one. If you haven't already done so, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the notification bell so you'll be notified for new episodes that come out every single week on Fridays at 3:30 Pacific Standard Time. Also, if you comment on this episode and you like the episode, you'll help this episode get out to more individuals. And if you want to join our Facebook group page, just click a link. It's a Facebook icon on our profile page here on our YouTube channel. Join our group page, network with individuals all across the world, and share what technology you're using to grow your business. The next link is to join our Real Estate vs. Technology brand new IG or Instagram page. If you go on any of our stories, you can see who's going to be on Real Estate vs. Technology before it actually goes live on our YouTube channel. And the last link would be if you want to be on an episode of Real Estate vs. Technology. You pick a date and a time. We'll deep dive into your story and technology you're using to share that with other individuals that view our episodes weekly to inspire, enlighten, show up, and show out for people that love to watch these type of podcasts to have more success in their own business. Thank you so much for your continued support. We appreciate it. We will see you on the next one.